Is $1 million really enough to retire? I mean, for a lot of people, that has been the magic number. That's been the goal that they reach to. And in some cases, yes, and in some cases, no. The reality is that only about 3.2% of retirees actually hit that $1 million mark. And the average retirement savings in the US is somewhere around $255,000. So reaching a million is rare, but achievable. And note that it's a relatively high goal for a lot of people. It's still possible with good, solid retirement planning. With that said, we also understand some people need a lot more. So let's get into some of the reasons and some of the ways that we'll define whether or not a million is enough for you to retire. So we have a person, their name is, can I retire with a million? Let's assume that they're making $150,000. Let's assume they're about to turn 65 and then they're going to retire from Social Security if they take it at 65 when they retire, which is the case for a lot of people, but not everybody. We'll get into some reasons why in another video, but for this one, let's stick to the point and not go off topic. Let's assume that they're going to get about 2,700, give or take, a month from Social Security. That's based on them getting 3,200 a month if they waited till 67. But we've kind of defined it down here and we're saying we're going to take it at 65. We can always play with different examples down the road, and we certainly do that with our clients. But again, we're staying on topic. And in this scenario, we're using a traditional IRA to assume that's where the money is. So we're assuming they have $1 million in that IRA and that we're earning, in this case, about 6%. Great. So what is the key here? How much are they actually spending? So when we have them spend $6,200 a month with a 6% rate of return, they retire, they get Social Security at 65, that 2773. Their monthly expenses go up with inflation. So we come back here again and we see that the average rate of inflation is about 3.27%. You can argue with me on that if you want to, but that is respectfully the 110-year average going back to 1914. So, argue about something else. Moving right along. Looking at this scenario, they're getting the money that they need from Social Security. That's what their spend is. So from their portfolio, which is averaging about 6% a year, they need to pull 3647 after taxes. Now, what's interesting is that for the first couple of years, this is their portfolio where it says spendable assets. That amount is actually growing every year until they hit 68, when they hit an inflection point, and all of a sudden they start to spend more than they're actually earning. So that draws down a percentage of their portfolio every single year. And then at 88 years old, they run out of money. Now, for some people, they say that's fine, I'm going to die at 82. But for a lot of my clients, they say, well, I don't want to have to worry about living too long. That's not the goal. So let's look at some other scenarios. Just for the sake of argument, if we're taking this example and we're saying, all right, instead of getting a 6% rate of return, we're going to get a 7% rate of return. What is the impact on my retirement? All right, cool. I go to 92. Awesome, right? All of a sudden, just that 1% rate of return got me 4 more years of very comfortable living, where I'm not spending now 13,000 a month at, 13,457 a month at 88. I'm spending $15,305 a month at 92. Again, relatively unlikely that you will be wanting to live the same lifestyle at 64 and 65 that you will be at 88 and 92. However, there could be other factors involved, healthcare, long-term care, you name it. So those are things where people say, I want to maintain my independence. So we factor them in. So this is one very specific scenario that we're going through. Now, you can use other factors, right? This one has an option for market-based pieces. So what happens if instead of getting a 7% rate of return like we did in that retirement summary earlier, where these are those spendable assets, we decide to use rate of return from 2000 to 2009, like the S&P 500 fell by 10% in 2000, 13% in 2001, 23% in 2002, thank you dot-com bubble and other sources. And then we recover, and then, oh yeah, that little thing called the Great Recession where it really took a massive hit. So we see that impact. And in this scenario, instead of running out of money at 92, we run out of money at 77. All right, well, there's a case to say maybe not all of the money should be at risk. That's this particular scenario, but that's a different example. So that's one thing to look at. Now, we can create another scenario where we're saying, all right, let's just say that it's all Roth money, right? That everything else is the same. We're having a 7% rate of return, but instead of it being a traditional IRA, it is a Roth IRA. How does that impact my retirement? Great question. Thank you for asking. We still have the same $6,200 a month. Now we go to the retirement tab and we see that instead of running out of money at 92, like we did before, we have over $1.7 million at 100 that our kids will probably just waste away. So we can spend more money. Yeah, great idea. Let's play around with it. Let's say we spend $7,000 a month to start, just sake of argument. How does that impact what we have? So with $7,000 a month, one, we get a longer lifestyle, better lifestyle, and two, we run out of money at 97. That's better. Now my kids aren't getting so much of my money. That makes me happy. The point is that you need to tailor these decisions not just to, rules of thumb and what other people say, but what impacts your actual decision. And we don't know if all of your money is at risk or if it's safe or how it's invested. And we don't know if you're averaging 3% or 10%. Those are, again, things that we need to put into the equation for retirement. Just for completion's sake, let's say that we have half of the money in a place where we're getting where it's all pre-tax and half is in the Roth IRA. Well, in this scenario, and it'll depend on withdrawal order, but in this scenario, I'm having you take the traditional IRA money first, saving that Roth IRA money for later. There are a lot of reasons for it. Again, can get into it on another video or in a conversation, easy to do. But we're spending that same $6,200 a month. And in this scenario, again, we don't run out of money. Even at 100, we're still spending $19,798 a month. We are running down that money fairly quickly once we start to hit our, mid 80s and 90s. But we still have some left and we're still able to maintain our lifestyle. Some might call it dignity, but we're able to do that in retirement. Now, everybody's scenario is different. We know that, we've always known that, but what we can do is we can create individual scenarios based on your situation and show you how that would impact your retirement. There are so many things that are important. When you take Social Security, the amount of taxes that you're actually paying on that money, what your tax rate is, whether you're paying taxes in a high tax state or a low tax state, all of those things are unique and individualized, but we can make them that way for you, no problem. If you found that video helpful, and you better have if you're watching this long, please subscribe and, we'll do more. Also, there are more details on retirement planning that can be found in the article linked in the description below. And you can also visit our website at taxesandincome.com. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to schedule a 15-minute phone call, go ahead and click the link in the description below, and we look forward to talking to you soon.